speed of light do decay more slowly than stationary particles. As strange and counterintuitive as it seems, time dilation is a law of nature. Close to the speed of light is a kind of elixir of life. Because time slows down close to the speed of light, special relativity provides us with a means of going to the stars.
Hey, what's up YouTube? As you can see from the title, kind of sad picture, right? 3 mirrors, almost 2 mage bloods later, build equals still bad. I mean, what can you really say about it, right? So we're down to our last mage blood here, and it's on my body with the accuracy ready enchant. And we still have 258x, so maybe we can make it work. Maybe by some miracle, someone will have a triple accuracy precursors that comes up. Maybe by some miracle someone will make a +2 arrow quiver with T1 accuracy and multi and frenzy charge generation. I don't really know. We're looking for a miracle here because these mirrors ain't nothing but a reflection of our own failure, right? Every time I look at these mirrors, I see my face and it's disappointed about how bad the build actually is. But I did get to try out some different things, as you saw earlier just now in the highlights. I tried out some Replica Last Resort, and I wanted to go over why exactly Accuracy Stacker is such a bad archetype and what we can actually potentially do to fix it. So PoE Ninja is fixed. We're back, baby. PoE Ninja now accounts for the Forbidden Flame and Flesh Jewels again. Main problem with the build is that PoE Ninja does not account for Frenzy charges, right? So if we actually take a look at PoE Ninja, right, it will not account for frenzy charges unless you put your frenzy gem in there. So that's something to know. So if you ever want to beat out PoE Ninja or show them your boss or whatever, there are some settings that you can do. If you want to get number 1 on Venom Gyre damage, all you have to do is put in, Put in Wither, the skill gem, and you'll get 15 stacks, right? So here you can see I'm number 3 overall. And I wanted to show you, like, I had to put in frenzy charge gem. So if you want to, like, go to sleep, put in frenzy instead of dash for PoE Ninja to calculate it correctly. It's not like it really matters. Like, all of this damage, I'm going to show you why this is not really realistic, right? So damage is not really higher. Like, I do know that you think that it is higher, but it's probably not higher than a lot of Deadeye builds until you fully scale it up, because you're missing a lot of arrows and you also don't have ballista totems. So you have missing 2 from the bow, right? Because most people use a fractured 2 arrow bow, and then you get 1 from quiver, which I don't even have, and some of the ballers actually have 2 from quiver. So that's already 4 arrows, and then 2 more from Deadeye, right? So that is 6 arrows total that I'm missing. So if you can see here, this fires 6 arrows total, right? So even though they might have the same damage on PoE Ninja. They're doing more than double damage, right? Because they have so many arrows, and I'm out of arrows, right? Robin Hood doesn't have his quiver. He doesn't have enough arrows in the quiver, and this also doesn't account for the ballista totems they can put down, which adds around like 30% damage or so. So this is why PoE Ninja is kind of bad, right? Because I'm pretty much baiting people into thinking that Berserker Accuracy Stacker is a good build. But in the end, it doesn't really matter because this number will scale so high that it will blow everything out of the water, right? So now let's go see exactly what we can do to fix this issue. So I wanted to let you guys know about this other type of accuracy stacker for Berserker, and it is Replica Last Resort. So this is pretty much utilizing how this weapon has pretty much some insane attack speed, right? So if you go look at Replica Last Resort, let me pull it up on the screen. Replica Last Resort gives you a bunch of accuracy rating and different stuff, right? So it gives you 50% increased attack speed when on low life, 100% increased accuracy rating when on low life, and 200% increased damage with claws while on low life, right? So pretty much you have to be petrified blood in order to use this, and you need to be low life, right? Well, the problem with being low life is that you get absolutely screwed over by degens, and it's almost impossible to get above 4K life with Brass Dome, and Brass Dome is the best way to build the character, right? Because Brass Dome solves all your defensive issues, but you literally have 3.4K life. It is enough to survive in most cases, but if you run into a degen puddle, you are absolutely screwed because you have around like 1.6K EHP, right? Another problem is attack speed was too fast and led to Whirling Blades going backwards. This is something that happens if you reach around like 30 attacks per second, roughly, or not even 30. But if Whirling Blades is too fast, it actually leads to a backtracking. I'm not really sure why. It's kind of like if you ever get an Echoing Shrine, it just feels really off to play, and it didn't feel that great. And also, Simulacrum and places where you stand still, melee feels inferior to range by a mile. It's the reason why Venom Gyre outclears Lightning Strike, even though Lightning Strike technically maybe does more damage. It's also why Spark is so good because you can hit everywhere, and why Tornado Shot clears Simulacrum pretty well outside of the fact that you die a lot. However, the character was a lot tankier, and this is pretty much because of layered defenses, having access to Fortify, and also having access to Elusive Effect, and then having access to a little bit more Leech because you attack so fast and it actually feels a lot better, right, in terms of surviving. But character, I just didn't really feel like playing because it felt too similar to the Lightning Strike Berserker, and I just didn't really want to go down that same path again. And I do think the character overall is worse, right? And this is pretty much the Whirling Blades. You go from point B and back to point A. So this is the main thing that everyone's probably wondering is how much does this accuracy stacker cost and how can it actually cost so much, right? So most of the cost is actually in the rings, the two precursors emblems I bought for around 60 and 80 exalts each respectively. And this is because they have these double accuracy rating rolls. So if you look at here, 24% increased accuracy rating and 24% increased accuracy rating, right? So each precursor's emblem can roll like 3 different mods, and you see how this is 2 stacked and 1 movement speed. So the best one possible is 3 stacked of these accuracy, right? But that would probably run you around 2 to 3 mirrors, and I think only 1 or 2 pop up a league. And that's purely because no one really likes to delve anymore, because delve is not really that profitable. However, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I might not be biased, but I think delve might be the best money-making method in the game, over 150 exalts per hour, right? You find one of these bad boys, it could even be 3 meters per hour. So definitely go check out delve, everyone. Gems are also extremely expensive. 23 quality divergent additional accuracy cost me 25 exalts. I actually traded MB Extreme Awaken Multi-Strike for a 22 quality one, which functions identically to 23. And Awaken Greater Multiple Projectiles cost 20 exalts. You also need Divergent Inspiration. So you need a bunch of Awakened Gems, and the gems generally cost a lot. You also need Anomalous Ice Golem. Even though all these Ice Golem stuff kind of dies, you also need Anomalous War Banner. So it adds up, right? And it does make up for a lot of the costs, which is the gems. And now you have Elevated Tailwind and Onslaught with Elusive Boost cost me around 35 exalts. And this is without a good suffix. I kind of realized midway through that getting Fire Res on these boots was not really necessary because with Mage Blood, I had a bunch of resist So don't really need the fire resist on the boots and would probably prefer something else, right? And then the build has to use Mage Blood, which is another 260 exalts, and the Belt Enchant for 30% accuracy rating costs 13 exalts. The Forbidden Flame and Flesh Jewel with the Undeniable node costs around 80 exalts total for the set. In the end, the build is pricelessly bad. Like, it's priceless and it's also pricelessly bad for cost efficiency, but I believe in the future, right? It's all about the future in PoE, the future of builds, the future of your character, and the future of your character one day maybe clearing Wave 20 Simulacrum. And we did manage to get to Wave 25 with roughly 3 mirrors investment. So I think once I bump it up to 4 to 5 mirrors, it might be Wave 22 viable or 25, but I believe in the future, right? So you might be wondering, how can this build suck so much when it does so much damage and it's a stacker build, right? All stackers have to be good. Well, contrary to popular belief, this stacker is bad because of a lack of synergy. Main benefit of stacker builds is that you're able to get defenses along with offenses at the same time. So omniscience, you get percent all elemental resistance. Dexterity, you get percent evasion. Strength, you get maximum life. Intelligence, you get percent energy shield, right? So all these builds have some sort of defensive mechanic. Well, we are an accuracy stacker, right? So what does accuracy stacking give you? It gives you attack speed, it gives you crit chance, it gives you accuracy, right? And it gives you projectile damage. And it gives you lightning damage, right? All of those things are offensive components, every single one of them, right? There's no defense whatsoever. So you're left with a glass cannon because you're stacking stuff that gives you no defense. And all of these things are defenses, right? Omniscience might not be defense, but it kind of is because it allows for better gearing, right? And more resist, like chaos res on gear, right? So this also means that the tree is extremely tight. In order to get more survivability, it requires a huge damage loss. So if you want to look at my tree right now, for instance, like you want to drop this Brutal Restraint, look what happens when you drop the Brutal Restraint. Half damage. When you want to drop this Transcendent Spirit, 40% damage loss. Right here, another 40% damage loss. So everything is huge damage loss. This node right here, another 30% damage loss, right? So this can be overcome with good enough gear, right? Because if you look at a better pop, perhaps, then you'll see that you can start dropping stuff and still have more damage than everyone else. But that requires getting a 3x precursors. It requires getting perfect abyss jewels. And another problem is Replica Shroud of the Lightless is too important and creates insane socket pressure. So you take off Replica Shroud of the Lightless, half damage gone, right? So if you take off a lot of stuff to try to get survivability, you're going to be left with a character that does no damage. And if the character does no damage and is tanky, then you might as well just be playing like Tuna's Omniscience character that is way tankier and does pretty much the same damage, right? So that's why this build is bad. Too many uniques, too little room on the tree for getting more defenses, and stacking the wrong stats or stacking stuff that does not give you defenses, right? So that's why Accuracy Stacker I've always thought was a trash build. But we can't come up with all these problems without coming up with creative solutions, right? So get more damage is definitely the band-aid. So if there is something on these band-aids, it is damage, right? The newbie go right here. So even in simulacrums, it seems that once you can get enough damage to kill everything as soon as it spawns. So like in simulacrum, it does feel like that with enough damage, everything will die instantly and that you can be fine. This is what it felt like. As I got more damage, it's felt better and better. I have been able to get higher in waves, and I do think that wave 30 will be viable soon enough with consistent 6 rewards, right? So like I said, with enough damage, you can drop nodes on a tree for more life or use a different chest. Easiest upgrade at the moment is a new bow, which will be like 25% more damage. There is the Shaper mod on the bow, which gives you socketed attacks, deal 20% more damage. So that's already a huge damage increase. Triple accuracy precursors would be like 70% more damage. And just so you guys can see how insane triple accuracy precursors actually are, I'm going to go import 2 of them, right? And this is from one of the top Tornado Shot profiles last league. And it is actually just kind of crazy how important these things are. And the sad fact that these things will probably never exist, right? So we're going to copy this over. We're going to add to the build, right? So we're going to put on 2 of these precursors. And you can see here that it doubled the damage, right? 2 of the precursors. So it can double the damage easily, and it's just insane. So definitely have room to easily double or triple the damage even. Can get some 6 prop habituals, but impossible to get T1 accuracy as you need item level 85. So you can't really farm these maps to get these habituals, and it's kind of sad because this was one of the main reasons why I rolled this build, and it just shows me that you should probably do some research beforehand, and yeah, you actually can't get 6 prop habituals with T1 accuracy, which is a major bummer. So overall, definitely will be trying out Aura Stacker decks, but I'll try to dump the rest of my currency into making this character viable and selling it on TFT, and then trying to get more currency to make the ultimate currency sink, which is technically Aura Stacker, but I do think this character is actually more of a currency sink than Aura Stacker. Aura Stacker doesn't really have any mandatory 2 to 3 mirror items that is game changing. And I definitely should have listened to the multiple people who have warned me about how bad this build was going to be. Someone in my chat said that he spent 5 mirrors into the build and it still felt bad. So hopefully I can buck the trend, right? Perfect illustration of why stacking builds need to also benefit from stem stacking of defenses. So aura stackers do stack auras, so that's how you get defenses. Strange stacker has life. Accuracy stacker is just bad, right? And this is the perfect illustration of the power of exponential scaling as build does reach insane DPS levels. And yeah, the build does reach insane DPS, and it's kind of crazy how much one upgrade can still give. And that's actually kind of the fun part of the build, right? You want to build that you can get an upgrade and it increases your damage by 20 to 30%, but the upgrades don't exist at the moment. So my character is running on fumes, it's empty, and these are all the people who pressed the button and warned me about accuracy stacker and how bad it actually was. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope the next time you see it, my character will have finished Wave 30 Simulacrum by some miracle, and that it can actually kill bosses in the game or even do a white map without just dying to some random stuff. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you find more mirrors, exalts, and mage lists than me, and see you next time. Bye.